Hey everyone. I'm going to transplant onions or up pot onions in this one. This is my second attempt to grow onions from seeds, and you can see that there's some doing really well. There's some that still have like the little seed on it. Once it gets so far along, you can kind of just gently pull them off. If there's any resistance, don't do that. But so like these look really nice what's in the shot, but like there are some that aren't looking too very nice. And in the last video I showed that there's roots coming out the bottom, so I think that's part of the problem. Another problem is that they're all way too close together. This is my second attempt to growing them from seed, and my first attempt we did not even make it this far. I can grow lots of things. I can grow onions in my garden. From seed though, I don't know what I'm really doing. So this is just, we're learning together. I have this giant pail this way. There we go. I have this giant pail that is quite deep and big, and I'm gonna try to up pot them all into this. Fingers crossed. And some might make it, some might not. You know, it's an experiment. I feel like you do a lot of experiments in gardening, so that's that. So this one came out pretty easily. The root seems to look fine. It's just a little flimsy, but the dirt is super dry. Oh, let's do it that way so you can actually see. And there we go. The root's super dry, or the dirt around the root is super dry. So that could be what's causing it to have issues. So here's to hoping I fix this situation. And I just plopped it, I guess you can't see that at all. I just plopped it right there in the ground. And I don't know how successful I'll be doing this with gloves. Again, this one, well, okay, this plant, oops. So this plant, little onion, it's got a root on it, but like the plant itself seems to have not even made it. It's never turned green. It still has the seed head on it. It does come off, but it's just so flimsy and yellow that I'm not even gonna try to, I don't think there's really any hope for this little guy. Yeah, so I'm just gonna toss that to the side. I might just take it out to the chickens, and maybe they'll get a little tasty snack, because I'm sure that's not gonna be the only one. I'm also realizing like this is gonna be real impossible to do with gloves, because I need to, like, gloves are nice and all, but like sometimes you just got to be able to feel things. So these 5, oh my goodness, I've planted way too many in a small space. These 5 seem to be fine. Again, they need space and water. So we're just gonna separate them out like so. This one almost seems too flimsy, but I'm just poking a hole in the ground with my finger and planting them right above, like, the root. So we're just gonna see how many we can get in here to keep them going a little bit longer. I know a lot of root vegetables you don't want typically you just start them outside. This one has an awesome root on it, like that's the plant, and that's how long the root is, so that's pretty cool. A lot of root vegetables you just want to direct sow. However, I get excited, I think a lot of us can relate. We get excited when it gets close to gardening time, and then it's like, oh, I just want to start the things. So onion seed, that is something a little different, where either you start it inside or you sow it in the fall. And by the end of fall, like I haven't been able to get into the planting bulb things like garlic and onions in fall time, because if I understand all of that correctly. Because by the time gardening season's over, I'm pretty wiped out from that. So basically with all of these, and when you do these type of transplants with, like, plants don't like their roots being disturbed a bunch. So ideally you only want to up pot them so many times before you like transplant them to their home. Again, another good root system. I don't know. Again, I don't. As I'm putting them in the dirt, if they do still have the little seeds on the top, I am taking those off. Today I think this is the last thing I really need to up pot, and then I just need to go in there and water everything really well. And then I'm pretty sure everything's gonna bounce back just fine. But then I think the plant part of my day will be done. Oof, this is gonna be a rough one because they're these are rough looking. They're very saggy. And I noticed I used these trays and pods because I have one of these trays, like a seed starting tray, and then a water catching tray. And I've noticed that this year, for some reason, I don't know, ooh, that one, another treat for the chicken. 2 more treats for the chickens. That's a bummer. I'm gonna try not to toss very much of this dirt out there. But when I water the bottom tray, it seems like it's heavy in the middle, so the middle is sinking in. And that, like, only the water is really getting sucked up in the middle, so that's why you can see, like, this area looks a lot blacker, and then this area, which maybe, yeah, you can see that. The sides are, like, real brown. So I don't really know what's happening with that and why, because again, I didn't have this issue last year, so I tried readjusting them a couple of different times, and it just seems, I don't know what it seems like it's just too heavy in the middle, and that just doesn't make much sense, because I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery. I'm gonna give that one to the chickens. So here's to experiments, right? We're going to try to record some on my phone. I had just gotten a phone call, so... Oh, wait, I don't need gloves on for this. So I worked a little bit more on moving some of these over. I did get plants watered while I was on the phone. So I just needed to take a break, apparently, which makes sense. From videotaping, that is. So I am trying to knock off some of this dirt that is on the root system, just because it's just so hard. Try to let other nutrients get to these onions. But we're like a quarter through the tray. I also have, this is I think my 4th year making maple syrup. So I also have a fire going outside, but you gotta love Indiana weather because you never know when you're gonna get more snow. We got snow 2 days ago, or yesterday we got snow, and then basically it's all melted today. So again, you gotta love Indiana weather. And then all of my wood this morning was frosted, or frosty. So it's been a fun game of trying to keep it lit while getting other wood dried enough to keep the fire going. So yeah, fun games. But I didn't get much sap this week. It said it was all supposed to be nice all week long, and then the weather, the temperatures were reading high, like 30s. Oh, dang it. Ripped that root right off. 30s and 40s. But like real feel, it didn't get very high at all. So ideally for sap collecting, you want temperatures during the day, or you want temperatures to be above 32 and below 32. So like the sap is constantly like warming up and going up through the tree and then coming back down. So ideally you get a flow going. This week, like all of my trees that I'm tapping are in the woods, and there was not much sap that happened. And then I think we did have some stronger winds this week, which the lids I use are 5-gallon buckets I get them from bakeries. We have a store here called Meyer. So this is a healthy onion plant. Can you see that all right? Where it's like nice, tall, solid. It's got a beautiful bottom. Honestly, pulling that little spot, I smell onions a lot more. So I'll at least have a small selection of onions. But in the woods, it stays much cooler. And the sap just was not warming up good enough. have the flow, and then a couple of my lids came off. I feel like I started multiple sentences in that conversation. I get my buckets, they're old frosting buckets, and you can go to bakeries and ask for their old frosting buckets, and either someone else has already got them, or they haven't thrown them away for the day, or recycled them, whatever that store has done, and they'll just give them to you. I know there's one store that will charge $1 for those old frosting buckets, which $1's cheap, right? But if I could get them for free, I'm gonna aim to do for free over $1. You do have to clean the frosting out, and they have like a wonderful sweet smell afterwards. So that's kind of lovely. But if you have dogs at all and they're just on your floor while you're trying to clean the load you brought home, like, they're gonna try to eat the frosting off the sides. Let's be real, okay? It's a real situation. It does make a huge frosting mess in your house if you're like a sloppy dishwasher, which with 5-gallon buckets you kind of, I think, just are a sloppy dishwasher. So I believe it's my 4th weekend boiling, and I'm like the backyard maple maker person. I'm gonna take this out of the tray because it's gonna be easier for me to squish the bottoms to get them out just a little bit better. Okay, so technology challenges, but I was able to get this pot all planted. I still have this many to go. So I potted up another pot of dirt to try to do this. I don't think I've ruined anything. And I think we can still see. That's amazing. So I pulled out some plants starts from the center that have the really moist dirt, and these roots really just come apart on their own. So that is another thing that is super helpful if the dirt's moist, or is moist and is able to not be so rough in separating the roots. So that's something. Oops. This one has really long roots, so I didn't get those all the way down there. So what I was saying before, things ran out of space, storage, all the things. So I guess we're just gonna try out all of the technology devices that I own. So now we're on my laptop. I've ran out of storage, I've ran out of space, batteries have died. Part of the learning curve, right? So ideally, I'll be able to finish planting this small section of onions and be able to move forward with things, you know? We'll see though. Which also now you see a lot more things that are going on in the background. And like, it's springtime, so like my house is chaotic because it's maple syrup season and it's springtime, so plant season and just all the things, you know? So I don't even remember what I was trying to talk about. Something about maple syrup. Doing that, it was cold.
hope someone, if anyone watches this, I hope they get a good laugh out of the comedy that is occurring while I try to do these things. I'm also trying to plant much faster so I don't end without an ending, which I don't even know what the closing thing will be. So you're just hearing all of my anxieties of trying to start a YouTube channel, you know? So you're welcome and thank you. Um, so last year, though, I started over 400 plants. I think it was close to like 450. And really hoping that this year I can start over 1,000 plants and be able to sell some. Because I would like to start a homestead that is profitable. Ideally, the goal of homesteading, I feel like for most of us, is wanting to be sufficient and know how to do the things our grandparents or great grandparents knew how to do. So, which that's a goal of mine also. But I'd also like to be able to live kind of off my land and make that work. I am, once I get this done, I need to check on the fire, which it seems like smoke is still happening. So maybe there's still a mini fire going and I can go resuscitate it. Um, 'Cause ideally, this is not how you should be boiling sap. You should have like a fire going, not playing fun games of did it go out or not, you know? Um, but the rest of my day, I need to get 2 homework assignments done. 'Cause I'm in my graduate program, working on my Christian or Christian counseling degree. Got a real long name, but basically be a Christian counselor. Um, it's not a clinical degree, so that is something different. I do have homesteading incorporation goals for that. I'm still trying to sound that all out, but I do graduate this coming spring 2024. So I'm excited to finally be done with school, but then it's the transition of starting into the next phase of things, which is a little nerve-wracking, I guess. Any transition's nerve-wracking. But, ooh, I might have just killed that plant. Because I worked too hard at it, trying to get that little seed head off of it. Any transition's hard, right? So, like, there's those anxieties of making sense of that next step. So, hopefully I can document, not counseling sessions or anything on here, but I can document some of that process of figuring that out because private practice type stuff is what I'm hoping to do. So lots of plans, lots of goals. On top of this year, I'm trying to sell starts to see if that's an option. So my dog needed to go out. Um, Part of So the goals this year is that I'm hoping I found someone about an hour away that's going to be selling barnyard mix chickens. Um, which I have chickens. I've had chickens probably 5-ish years. Where I've had some girls age out. I've had some predator issues. Um, so it's time to get babies again. And hopefully by fall time, I can be back to selling eggs or trying to sell eggs. I've not had much luck with that. So here's to hoping. Um, they are a barnyard mix, but the eggs she's advertising that she has are blues and greens and browns. So that's what I was looking for. And everywhere I've found that is offering those type of chickens with shipping and end of the day for about 15 chicks, it was going to be over $100, and she's selling them for $2. So with my gas and the price of chickens, I'm going to save a lot just driving to go get them instead of trying to order them. So that will be an option or exciting. This so that will be mid-March, and then is what she's thinking. She's already sold some to other people, and so she's not sure if she'll have enough for me, but she plans on hatching more throughout springtime. Maybe more if there's a demand, but then I am hoping I'm on a list come June to get bees also. So exciting things. Um, but yeah, this is just my plans. And I think I finally have all the onions up planted. So we've got all of these guys, all of these guys. And yeah, I think I'm done with plants and I can move on to homework now today and figuring out how to set up a YouTube channel. So thanks for going on the journey with me. I hope you guys have a good day.